This is Elden Ring's greatsword, and this is my greatsword. And today I turned this greatsword into a controller that I can play Elden Ring with. That means every heavy swing my character does in game is activated by a heavy swing that I do in real life. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, my arms are hurting. But hey, I already know what you're about to ask. Lewis, why are you even doing this? Well, when I was a kid, video games used to come with some really bad but some really cool peripherals. And after looking at these controllers, it got me thinking, if Elden Ring came out in 2005, what kind of goofy controller would be packaged with it? It has to be something so iconic that when you see someone playing with it, you're like, damn, that boy back there is playing some Elden Ring. And I think I'm safe to say that the greatsword might be one of Elden Ring's most iconic weapon. It's big, it does big damage, and it's a berserk reference? Say less. Come on, say less, say less, say less. At the beginning of this project, I was going to pick the Moonlight Greatsword. However, I feel like I need way more subscribers on my channel before I even think about spending $450 on a prop. Either way, now that I've decided on what sword I want to turn into a controller, it's finally time to make a plan to do that. The goal of this project is to play Elden Ring with an actual greatsword controller, so we need to do the following. Step 1, make your greatsword. That part should be really easy to do and nothing can go wrong. Step 2, create some hardware and software that can emulate an Xbox controller. Step 3, attach the hardware onto the greatsword's handle. And for step 4, and finally, step 5, profit. And by profit, I mean by this step, I should be able to play Elden Ring by literally swinging a greatsword around. With the process laid out and ready to go, I only have one big question for y'all. Hey, do any of y'all know how to build a greatsword? Cause, I don't. Okay, after a little bit of researching, I came up with two plans. The first plan had me building the greatsword out of foam like some sort of cosplay prop. This will help make the greatsword lighter in weight and more importantly, make it not too expensive to make. However, I do have some bad news for everybody. I'd rather y'all find this information out through me instead of through somebody else, so here goes nothing. I'm not an artist. I am sadly a programmer. Okay, my skills aren't that terrible, but I do know I'm not ready to make a 7-foot sword out of foam. However, on the bright side, I think I'm decent enough with computers, or at least good enough to try out plan 2. 3D printing the entire greatsword. One of the benefits of this plan is that I don't need to craft the sword itself. The only thing that I have to do is find a 3D model of the greatsword and then just print it out, which is easy enough to do, but there are some noticeable downsides to this plan. Like for starters, did I mention that this sword is more than 6.5 feet tall? The sword is so big that even the parts that were split to fit a 3D printer had to be split again to fit mine. This shouldn't be a big issue for me because smaller print sizes should mean shorter print times, which means each piece should take around 2 to 3 hours to finish, and I shouldn't expect 6 hours per piece? And as much as I want to film a whole week of 3D printing, let's just skip to step 2 and start talking about making the hardware. In order for us to play Elden Ring with a greatsword, we need to emulate a video game controller. We also need to add some sort of motion controls to it so we can really sell the vibe of a late 2000s gimmick controller. So I've decided to use an Arduino Nano, and it's really cool. Wait. Oh, you can't even see it. Oops. Okay, so I decided to use the Arduino Nano for this build. Not only can I connect some joysticks and buttons to it, it even has an accelerometer and gyroscope that I can access really easily. Long story short, this controller is just a very complicated Wiimote. And while technically I could have just taped a Wiimote to the handle of the greatsword and got practically the same result, I feel like it'd be way too lazy for me, and more importantly, the comment section would never let me hear the end of it, so I gotta go the hard route. Anyways, for the greatsword build, I've decided on using 2 joysticks and 4 buttons. Within a couple of hours, I was able to program a prototype to work with Elden Ring. So far it looks kind of ugly, but I'd rather have it look ugly and work than not work at all. To make all of this fit onto the greatsword, I had to completely redesign the hilt in a CAD program. One side of the handle will house the slots for the joysticks, while the other side will hold the buttons. My layout was completely inspired by the PlayStation 2 Katana controller, which did this, but way better. I was able to get this katana working with Ghost of Tsushima, and it worked so well I couldn't help but love the controller's layout. The only thing I didn't like about the katana is that my fit in 2020 was not up to par. Like, it does not do the katana justice at all. But you know what? You can't win them all, right? Oh hey, that's the... Oh no, I just let the 3D printer print 24/7 for an entire week. I don't want to know how much money I spent on this project. Alarm going off, which means the sword should be ready to be put together now. Luckily for me, the greatsword is a really simple design, so all I really need to do is find the base to put all the 3D parts onto. For this build, I decided to use a giant wooden dowel to keep it all together. Now for the people who didn't fail physics twice in college like I did, you can kinda already see where this is going. Now you might already know that putting a lot of weight on half of the wooden dowel is going to be a really bad idea, but we'll save that when we get to the post-mortem part of the video because I messed up pretty bad. After a couple of days of crafting, I was able to build the entire greatsword. I knew the greatsword was going to be huge, but brothers, this is big. However, we're not done yet as we need to add the hardware onto the hilt. Luckily for me, the custom handle I built earlier was really easy to work with. All I had to do was just put the joysticks and buttons in place and run the wires through the handle into the Arduino. And do y'all remember when I said the housing for the Arduino was ugly earlier? Yeah, I didn't really fix that, but I at least made a little container to house the Arduino to attach to the end of the sword. And with this little covering piece, we can all forget about how bad my wiring looks. Just don't tell anybody, okay? Just keep it between you and me, alright? But y'all, after 3 weeks of building, we finally got to the moment I was waiting for. It is finally time to try something that no challenge runner has ever done before. Play Elden Ring with an actual greatsword. Okay, sorry about this, but I did lie to you. I forgot to do one little thing. I completely forgot about testing the motion controls for this build, and that's probably the most important part. This should be really easy to do because all we have to do is just swing the sword around. Using the accelerometer, we can figure out what axis is producing the highest number during the swing. Once we figure out what axis spikes during the swing, we can then send that R1 input into Elden Ring every time the spike happens. If y'all want to see the code for this project, let me know in the comments below and I'll put it on GitHub. But before we continue, I have some really bad news. My room is small, and swinging around a 7-foot sword is eventually going to break my monitor. And I promise you, if I could rent a bigger room like some sort of garage space, I would. But sadly, I'm broke, and moving out in this economy is an Elden Ring boss fight in itself. But hey, if you want to help me out in my future projects, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Even dropping a like on this video will help out the channel a ton, so I greatly appreciate it. Either way, it's finally time to test out the build, and a wise man once told me, "Fuck it, we ball." Hey everybody, this is the day 1 test, or actually the first test of the accelerometer for the greatsword itself. All I need to... Sorry, this thing is really heavy. So if I let go, it like starts cutting into my shoulder. Yeah, all I need to do today is test out the swinging function of the sword. I think I programmed the Arduino correctly to where once this thing is swung, it tells Elden Ring to press R1 and then my character attacks in game. Everything else should be working. Yeah, oh yeah, my joysticks are working, dodge rolls are working. I think, is that the heal button? Oh, it is, perfect. That's a lot more than I thought I got done earlier, but either way, that's not what we're here for. We're here to see if this big ass sword can be swung and you can finally play Elden Ring with an actual, greatsword controller. All right, everybody, accelerometer test number 1. All we need to do is swing this sword. So on the count of 3, here goes nothing. 3, 2, 1. Let's go! I would pop off more if my arms didn't hurt. Like if my arms weren't fighting for their freaking life. Oh my gosh. The greatsword controller also has a built-in guard function if you hold it vertically. It's way too heavy for me to do consistently, but at least I programmed it in. And you know what? I'm kind of done with all this nerd stuff. I think it's finally time to give the greatsword its biggest test. Can I actually beat a boss with this greatsword controller? Press interact because I forgot to put this on my sword. Oh my god. Ugh. Okay. Lock on. That's not lock on. Oh my god. Well, we're down to flash, everybody. Okay. Whoa, brother. Did you see that I was playing with a greatsword? Is that why you're being so mean to me right now? I know I've only done this for like 10 minutes. But this thing is so heavy, oh my god, and I don't want that. I need to delay my attack so I don't get the thrust.
I'm sucking up. Yeah. And that's one. Whew. Wait for you to make a mistake because I am tired and this thing is cutting into my shoulder. 1, 2. My man. Yeah. That was a really bad swing, but it still counted, so we'll take it. 1. Oh gosh. Oh, perfect. 1, 2 in a row. Yeah. Oh, we did good damage. Oh, we're cracked, we're cracked, we're cracked, we're cracked. Yeah. Oh, I hate getting that stab move every time. Oh, that really reached me? That sucks. That's all I get. Wait. Do you follow up? I don't know. Damn, I'm so tired. This sucks. That sucks. That sucks part 2. Oh, this is gonna suck even more. 1, 2, 3. You attacked? Oh, okay, I can dodge this. 1. I'll even dodge the second one. Yeah. Do the thing where you throw the daggers, please. I'll pretend to heal so you can read my buttons. Come on, dude. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Oh, I rolled way too early for that one. 1, 2, and a 3. Okay. Oh God, there's a wall back here. Oh no 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 no. Bro, it's going downhill so fast. 2, 3. I'm so tired. This thing's so heavy. Hey, do something, please. Stop walking up to me menacingly. Oh, perfect. 1, 2. That was such a lame swing. Oh, 1, a 2. Oh gosh. 1, 2. Oh, that caught me. Damn, 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 damn. I'm gonna heal and he's gonna do something stupid. Watch this. Yep. Just on cue. That's it. Oh, I need one more. Let's go. Let's go. Oh shit, it's so heavy. I would pop off way more, but like I said, this is cutting into my shoulder, so it is, my arm is just limp, dude. It's fighting for its life. But we beat the first boss. Hey, this is the first time I've ever really had a section in my video for just stuff like this, so bear with me. But before I give the Greatsword a rating, I've been asked many times in the past how much my builds cost to make, and here's a quick breakdown. So it took about 3 to 4 spools of PLA to print the entire Greatsword out. Those each cost around $15 a pop, so I'll say it took about $60 of filament for the build. The cost of the hardware was around 30 bucks, as the Arduino itself was 25 and the extra buttons and joysticks were around 5. As for the cost of painting the entire sword, it did take about 2 cans of primer and then 2 cans of silver to do it. And since I really just paid myself in pizza, I'll keep my labor costs out of the equation. So in total, the Greatsword cost me about $114 to build from start to finish. It actually surprises me that it only cost me 2 Overwatch skin bundles for me to break my ceiling fan. The goal of this video is to make a controller that is gimmicky and awkward to use, and I think I did that. The Greatsword itself was 7 feet long and it was hella awkward to use in a small space. I think the biggest mistake I made during this build was using a wooden dowel for the base of the sword. If you hold the Greatsword in just the wrong way, you can hear the wood snapping and cracking underneath the weight of the build. Although the build has been holding up just fine for the past month, I can totally see it breaking if you sat on it the wrong way. Either way, it was able to handle an entire session of Elden Ring, and I found that to be amazing. I am so proud of myself that I was able to build this with just a 3D printer, a Dremel, and a hand-me-down folding table on a patio. Overall, I give the Greatsword build an amazing 8 out of 10. The biggest reason why I took 2 points off of the build is mostly because I couldn't afford a bigger room to play around with. I bet if I didn't have to worry about breaking my furniture or my ceiling fan, I would have an amazing time with this build. So y'all, until the next video, stay safe and pay your taxes. Bye!